These are the last photographs ever taken. The people in them had no idea what was about to happen. They were smiling, they were living their normal lives. Some of them were on holiday, some were at work, some were celebrating. Within hours, in some cases within minutes, everything in these photographs would be gone forever. These are the final moments before some of the most catastrophic events in human history, and they were all caught on camera. Stay with me, because number 3 on this list is the one nobody talks about, and it will change the way you see that event forever. Welcome to Retro Remind Network, the channel that pulls out the stories the world was never supposed to forget. Today we are looking at photographs that changed history, not because of what is in them, but because of what happened seconds, minutes, and hours after the shutter clicked. Some of these images were taken by professional photographers, some were taken by ordinary people who had no idea they were documenting the last moments of something or someone that would never exist again. These are real, every single one of them. Let us begin. Number 1. The Titanic. April 10th, 1912. Southampton, England. This photograph was taken as the RMS Titanic left port for the very first time. The passengers on deck are waving at their families on the shore. They are dressed in their finest clothes. They are excited. This is the grandest ship ever built. The newspapers call it unsinkable. Look at their faces. None of them know 4 days later, on April 14th at 11:40 p.m., the Titanic struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic by 2:20 in the morning. She was gone completely beneath the ocean in less than 3 hours. Of the 2,124 people on board, 1,517 never came home. But here is what most people do not know about this photograph. The man standing at the back of the ship in this image, the one in the dark coat, was Jack Phillips. He was the Titanic's chief wireless radio operator on the night the ship sank. Jack Phillips stayed at his post sending distress signals until the very last possible moment. He never made it to a lifeboat. He was 25 years old. He knew the ship was going down. He stayed anyway, still sending, still calling for help. Number 2. The Last Day of Pompeii. This is not a photograph. Photography had not been invented yet, but this painting, completed in 1833, is based entirely on real eyewitness accounts of what happened in Pompeii on August 24th. It's 79, and these are real. When archaeologists excavated Pompeii in the 1800s, they discovered something extraordinary where the bodies had been buried under volcanic ash. The flesh had long since decomposed, but it left a perfect hollow cavity in the hardened rock. When they poured plaster into those cavities, they got the exact final position of every person the volcano caught. This man was shielding his face from the heat. This family died together. They are still holding each other. This dog was still chained. When the ash came, nobody came to free him. Mount Vesuvius erupted so fast that morning that most people had no warning at all. The temperature of the pyroclastic surge that swept through the city reached 300 degrees Celsius. It was over in seconds. These plaster casts are not sculptures. They are the exact shapes of real human beings, frozen in the last second of their lives almost 2,000 years ago, and they are still there. In Pompeii, you can visit them today. Number 3. The Hindenburg. May 6, 1937, Lakehurst, New Jersey. This photograph was taken as the Hindenburg, the largest aircraft ever built, came into land after crossing the Atlantic Ocean from Germany. It was the airship's 63rd flight. The passengers had just enjoyed a 3-day luxury crossing. There was a dining room on board, a lounge, a promenade deck. It was the future of air travel. The people in this photograph are watching from the ground. They are excited. Some of them are waiting for family members on board. Some are journalists, some are simply curious. Nobody is worried. 34 seconds later, the Hindenburg was on fire. In 34 seconds, 36 people died. The entire era of airship travel died with it. No luxury airship has ever flown again. What nobody knew at the time, and what was kept secret for years, was that the Hindenburg's captain had received multiple bomb threats before takeoff. He flew anyway. He never told the passengers. Number 4. Chernobyl. This photograph was taken inside the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine on April 25, 1986, the day before the explosion. These are the workers of reactor number 4. They are smiling. It is the end of their shift. Some of them are going home to their families. Some of them are staying for a safety test that is scheduled for that night. At 1:23 a.m. on April 26th, the following morning, reactor number 4 exploded. The explosion released 400 times more radiation than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The workers in this photograph who went home that night survived. The ones who stayed for the safety test, many of them died within weeks from acute radiation sickness. The town of Pripyat, home to 50,000 people, was evacuated the next day. They were told it would be temporary. They were told to pack only what they needed. For 3 days, nobody ever went back. This Ferris wheel in Pripyat's amusement park was scheduled to open on May 1st, 1986. 5 days after the explosion, it opened for 1 day, only to help keep the evacuees calm. While the government decided what to do, then it was abandoned forever. Nobody has ever ridden it. It is still there today. Number 5. John Lennon. December 8, 1980, New York City. This is one of the most heartbreaking photographs in music history. The man on the right is John Lennon, one of the most famous musicians who ever lived. He is signing an autograph. The man he is signing it for, the man on the left, is Mark David Chapman. John Lennon signed this autograph and went inside his apartment building. He came back outside at 10:50 that evening to go to a recording session. Mark David Chapman was still there, waiting. John Lennon was shot 4 times in the back as he walked through the archway of his own home. He died at 11:07 p.m. The photograph of him signing the autograph was taken by a professional photographer who was there that day on assignment. He had no idea he was taking the last photograph of John Lennon alive. John Lennon was 40 years old. He had just released his first album in 5 years. He was planning a world tour. Number 6. Space Shuttle Challenger. January 28, 1986, Cape Canaveral, Florida. This is the crew of Space Shuttle Challenger 7 astronauts. This photograph was taken on the morning of their launch. They are smiling because they are about to go to space. The woman in the center is Krista McAuliffe. She was not a professional astronaut. She was a school teacher from New Hampshire. She had been selected from 11,000 applicants to be the first ordinary civilian in space. Millions of school children across America were watching the launch live on television that morning because their teacher was going to space. 73 seconds after launch, Space Shuttle Challenger broke apart. All 7 crew members were lost, but here is something almost nobody knows. The night before the launch, engineers at the company that built the shuttle's O-rings sent an urgent fax to NASA. They had identified a critical problem with the seals in cold weather. They begged NASA to delay the launch. It was 18 degrees Fahrenheit that morning, far colder than any previous shuttle launch. NASA launched anyway. A photograph captures a single moment, 1 second. One click of a shutter, and then time moves on and takes everything with it. The Titanic passengers waving from the deck, the workers of Chernobyl at the end of their shift, John Lennon signing an autograph, 7 astronauts smiling on launch morning. None of them knew. They could not have known. They were simply living the way we all live without any idea of what the next hour would bring. These photographs exist because someone was there with a camera, and because of that, these moments and these people will never be completely forgotten. If this video made you think, if any one of these photographs stayed with you, please subscribe to Retro Remind Network. We tell these stories so they are never forgotten. Share this video with someone who loves history, and leave a comment telling me which photograph hit you the hardest. I will see you in the next one.